Examining Report ID 2026.
Yo, what's going on, good people, my good people, my good people? I'm Marcus Hart. You are now rocking to me, and different angle today, different camera angle today. Um, and once again, I'm in my cold room, and this is gonna be different. It's gonna be very different. So this is the Urban News Journal, independent, unafraid, objective all the time, all the time. So what can we expect for today? So first of all, Washington just confirmed a brand new attorney general. A federal judge just told the president no on his own ballroom. Wall Street just posted its best week since April. Can you believe that? And all the while, the job numbers underneath it are completely ugly. The NFL had a Legends number retired and a starting quarterback walk away all overnight. And 48 hours before Wisconsin votes, less than 48 hours now, we are approaching. Milwaukee has had two shootings in one weekend. Folks, that's five stories for you. I'm going to give you guys a little bit under an hour. I'm not going to hold you very long. I kind of want to be finished today by midnight because I want to get some rest. And I'm going to give you my honest read on every single one of them. Okay. And once again, I'm Marcus Hart. This is the Urban News Journal, independent, objective, unafraid. And we are live right now. Let's get into it. And before I even take another breath, if you are new here, do me a huge solid. Hit the subscribe button right now. It costs you absolutely nothing. It's completely free for those who are looking for a bargain. And it tells YouTube, most importantly, to put more of this in front of you. And also hit that like button too, because that also helps. That goes a long way. So we are growing this channel completely in real time. And you being subscribed is literally how that magic all happens. Okay, what did you guys do today? Tell me. What did you guys do today? Did you have anything fun happen over the weekend? I did. I had a jam-packed weekend. I had birthdays to celebrate. I had a pool to put up. Oh man, all type of stuff. Well, let's get into segment one without further ado, because I don't want to lollygag too long. Let's start in Washington, folks, because two things happen there that tell you a lot about where the balance of power actually sits right now. So we have a guy named Todd, Mr. Todd. And look at this huge segment. One sign comes up. But you got this guy, Todd, right? He's a guy. Todd Blanchard, the president's former personal defense lawyer, was confirmed this week as the next attorney general of the United States of America. It's one of those I scratch your back, you scratch mine type of things that's going on. Okay. So now think about the sentence for a second. The man who spent the last few years in courtrooms defending Donald Trump personally is now the man running the Department of Justice for the entire country. Now, I'm not here to tell you that that's illegal. Illegal. Because it isn't, but it's illegal. Presidents pick attorney generals that they trust all the time. Okay, that's nothing brand new. But I am here to tell you it's worth watching very closely because trust and independence are not the same thing. And the DOJ's entire credibility rests upon people believing it's not just an extension of whoever sits in the Oval Office. We don't want to think that. We don't want to think that at all. Okay, that's very scary to think, actually, in fact. But here's the other half. The other half of the Washington story. And it's almost poetic timing, if we may. A federal court ruled this week that the president cannot build a ballroom addition at the White House without congressional approval. Not should you think about asking, cannot, simply cannot. You simply cannot. A judge in Article 3 of the Constitution told the executive branch, this isn't yours to decide alone. Mm, mm. So, man, you can put a lawyer that's, in charge of justice, but you still can't build a ballroom without asking permission. And that right there, my friends, is the whole design of this government working exactly the way it's supposed to. Exactly. And that's the tension I want you sitting in. Same week, same administration, one move that concentrates power, and one ruling that reminds everybody power still has a ceiling in this country. You can't go above the law like many people think you can. Like, this ain't gonna happen. We got all kinds of checks and balances for any crazy thing you want to do. That's not a Democrat talking point either, so don't get confused by that. And it's not a Republican talking point either, so don't hate me either way. That's just how checks and balances are built to function. Like I said, whether the guy in office likes it or not, and it doesn't matter who's in office. Now, as for overseas, while we're on power and pressure, Israel is rejecting the border pieces Gaza disarmament roadmap. And Prime Minister Netanyahu, that's what's up. Oh man, I'm not gonna get into names because I can butcher a lot of names. But anywho, Netanyahu is saying flatly he's fine standing up to pressure from President Trump to accept those tariffs. Well, look at that. When an ally tells the president of the United States no in public, on camera, that's not a small thing. That tells you something about how much leverage Washington actually has left in that region right now. And it is close to none right now. It ain't looking too hot. Okay. And also it's a conversation we are going to keep having on this show because I don't think that's going away too soon. What do you think? What do you think? Think about that for a second. My take though, plain and simple. Because I like to get to you plain and simple all the time. Watch what people do with power, not what they say about it. Tom Blatchy's real test isn't his confirmation hearing. It's the first time she has to make a call that isn't convenient for the man who appointed him. That's the story we need to follow and we need to continue to follow. Now, once again, if you just joined us, Mark Stark. This is the Urban News Journal. Independent, objective, all afraid, unafraid. Independent, objective, unafraid. I'm having some tough time right now, okay? I'm having some tough time. It's late at night, and I didn't expect to go on this late, but I had to. I gotta get it done. Gotta get it done, man. Now, I want to hear from you guys on this one because I know this is the kind of story that splits a room. Drop it in the chat right now, or otherwise, just leave a comment if you're watching the playback of this. That helps also. Do you trust an attorney general who's used to being the president's personal lawyer? Yes or no? Yay or nay? I'm going to open up the chat and give you guys an opportunity to do so. Otherwise, if you're watching already and you're already enjoying the show and you don't want to take the time to use those fingers to type a sentence or a phrase or a huh or what or who? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It is appreciated. I love to see the engagement. but I'm also good with just people who are very good at listening and just following. That's fine. That's fine also. So, all right, let's move from Washington to Milwaukee because this next one is a genuine head scratcher if you don't have the full picture. And there is a big picture right there. Segment two is where we come and approach right now. So in this segment, we're going to talk about how the Dow closed the week up nearly 3%. The Nasdaq was up over 5%. The S&P, on the other hand, had its best weekly gain since April. On paper, folks, that does sound like a party. Sounds like everybody's getting steak and lobster on a Monday. except, except, and those who will join, I'm Marcus Hart. This is the Urban News Journal, independent, objective, unafraid. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button to keep us pushing and keep us moving. We're building this brick by brick. Okay, and right now we're talking about the Dow Jones. We just finished off talking about what's happening over in Washington. Now we're going to Wall Street. So these numbers sounded real good over, last week or so, but the jobs report underneath all of that was bad. The economy lost 23,000 jobs last month when analysts expected a gain of 80,000. That's not a miss, okay? That's not taking taking a bat and swinging and striking out. That's 100,000 job gap between expectation and reality. Plus downward revisions to the months before. Interesting. Wall Street throws a party on the same week. Main Street, though, loses jobs. And if that sounds backwards to you at all, that's because it is backwards. Okay, you're not just the one it's designed for. And that's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. They got us just thinking that we all are part of the same party when we're not. Here's why that happens, though. And I want to explain that and explain this simply because Wall Street loves to make this sound complicated when we know it isn't. Bad jobs numbers make the Federal Reserve more likely to cut interest rates. Lower interest rates are rocket fuel for stock prices. So investors aren't celebrating people losing work, even though it might seem like it. They're actually celebrating what they think the Fed does next. The stock market and your job security are not the same economy. They never really have been to begin with. But weeks like this one makes it totally impossible to ignore. Can't ignore. Can't ignore. You can try to ignore it, but you're going to feel it one way or the other. You're going to feel it. And so this week, you get the CPI, you get the PPI inflation numbers too. And we got the OPP, you know me. But we get this with prices still expected to come in around 3.4% or so. Nowhere close to the Fed's 2% target. So if you're wondering why your groceries still feel expensive, why the news tell you the market's booming, now you know. This is why you got bologna every week. That's why your bologna doesn't have a first name. This is why you have celery sticks, but you only have 2 sticks. This is why you have carrots, but you only chop it off of 1 carrot, so it's not a carrot. It's not carrots, it's just a carrot. And then your lettuce is not lettuce, it's just let me have something more to eat. So you need advice for all this, right? And my advice is plain and simple. And I say this every time the market and the job numbers disagree with one another. Protect your own household economy first. Don't let a green stock ticker talk you into feeling secure if your own income picture hasn't even changed. I mean, that's just real talk. Real talk. So if breakdowns like this are very useful for you, and I know it is, because this is exactly why you should subscribe to this channel. We're going to keep translating this stuff in plain English for you every single stream. Hit that button if you haven't already. Seriously, it takes 2 seconds. It takes only 2 seconds. I'm begging you. Okay? Hit that like button too. Share this with someone who needs to get this same information that you are so privileged to get right now live. Okay? Okay. Let's take this one live for a second. Let's open the chat. Tell me, are you feeling this? Are you feeling this quote unquote best week since April in your actual life? Or does it feel like nothing has changed? I want real answers. I don't want no stock talk. Okay, drop your comments. If you're watching the playback, feel free to drop a comment. And once again, for those who are joining just now, I'm Marcus Hart. This is the Urban News Journal. I'm independent, objective, and unafraid all the time. We bring you live coverage and independent analysis 3 times a week, and sometimes in between, in short form. Okay, so let's head over to segment 3. The NFL Sunday Shakeup. NFL time, baby. The NFL's coming back. So let's lighten the mood for a second and talk sports. Because the NFL did not waste any time giving us storylines this week. They didn't wait. In fact, Detroit Lions quarterback Teddy Bridgewater abruptly retired. Teddy's out of here. He's gone. Just like that. No long goodbye tour, no farewell press conference build up. He just stepped away, and the Lions turned right around and plugged in veteran Josh Dobbs to take his spot. Naturally, because he's the next guy up. Okay. And look, I respect that. You got to respect that. We talk a lot on this show about people performing their lives for an audience instead of listening to themselves. There's some message in there. There is like some gems in what I just said there. We'll get to that. But Teddy Bridgewater walking away on his own terms at a moment nobody expected. It's honestly a healthier decision than a lot of people making their careers a whole lot less physical than professional football. Then we got in Arizona, the Cardinals. They retired Larry Fitzgerald's number 11. Congratulations to him. Okay, well deserved. That's so nice. So if you don't follow football closely, understand exactly what that means. Understand what that means. That number is done for. Ever. Vamos. Okay? For that franchise. Okay? You can wear number 11 in Green Bay, but you can't wear it in Arizona. Nobody else wears that number. That's the NFL's version of a statue. Okay? Larry Fitzgerald gave that organization 20 years of nothing but laughs on the field and off. And this is the league tipping its cap the right way. They finally do something. They get it right. And I like when they get it right. it's so good when they get it right. So here's our moment to thank them. One guy walked away from the game on his own terms, and another guy just had his number taken out of circulation forever. That's the difference between quitting and finishing. 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 Is it finish? Okay, finishing. Okay, finishing. I got it. I got it. All right. And here's something else to add on to that. Washington's offensive line took a hit too. Larmy, and I believe it's Larmy, Tucel went down with a torn triceps this weekend, actually, which is brutal. Long recovery injury for a left tackle heading into a season. Injuries like that change the team's whole outlook before week 1 even kicks off. Now, here's my real takeaway from all 3 of these stories together. This league moves on instant. This league moves in an instant way. Yeah, sometimes you got to change the word around. Put extra in contents around it. Okay, especially when you're struggling. No matter how big your name is, back to the news. No matter how big your name is, how many Pro Bowls you have made, how long you've been that guy, the NFL replaces you within 24 hours and keeps rolling. Keep rolling. There's a lesson buried in that if you are paying attention. And I do hope you are paying attention. So, all right, sports fans, this is how I challenge you to see if you are paying attention. I know you guys have opinions. Drop it to the chat right now. Lion fans, are you good with Josh Dobbs under center? And for everyone else, go ahead and tell me your all-time favorite Larry Fitzgerald catch. I want to see these because there's a lot of good catches. He got some amazing catches. Woo! Okay, so we are getting to that point, man. We are almost out the way for the night, and we did it. Oh, we might get under 30 minutes. Well, we might like arrive right at 30 minutes. We already at 21 minutes recording. Let's see how it goes. See how it goes. But I may be very passionate about this next segment. Okay. Once again, I'm Marcus Hart. This is the Urban News Journal, independent, objective, and unafraid, bringing you live coverage, analysis all the time on Wednesday and Friday. Even if we are late. Even if we late. So this next segment is Milwaukee in the primary. Okay. Milwaukee in the primary. You know, I think there's a lot to be said about Milwaukee. A lot of people leave it totally off the radar. People got their assumptions about what Milwaukee is. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to bring you all the way home with me on this one. Because this next segment isn't national. It's Milwaukee. It's my hometown. It's where I was born, Milwaukee. It's Wisconsin. And it matters just as much as anything that is absolutely happening in Washington. And I mean, if we're totally honest, the things that happen in our backyard is almost like a scaled down version of what's happening globally. Okay. If you think about it. If you think about it. So tomorrow, which at the time of this recording is almost 30 minutes. Tomorrow's almost 30 minutes from now. We're at 11:25, so 35 minutes away from it being August 11th. And why is Tuesday, August 11th so important? I'll let you guess. It's because Wisconsin hosts its 2026 fall primary election. This is the vote that sets the field before the general election. And if you are in Wisconsin and you are not registered or not sure where your polling place is, tomorrow is not the day to figure that out last minute. You better get to doing it right now. If you love watching this right now, you better go find out. And here's why local elections like this matter more than people give them credit for. You see, the people you elect in the primary tomorrow are the very people who could possibly be making decisions about your school district, about your streets, about your local economy, long before any presidential race ever touches your daily life. National politics is very loud. But again, local politics is what actually shows up at your front door. It's a small scale that you can actually see in real time. Small scale of like the loud, big national, global politics around the world, around this country. It's live in your face and you're going to feel it. Now, this weekend, Milwaukee also saw three people wounded in two separate shootings on Sunday. I'm not going to sit up here and I'm not going to tell you, that, I'm not going to sensationalize. That's the word. Sensationalize that number. And I'm not going to bury it either. That's real violence. In our city, involving real families on the same weekend, the city is asking people to show up and vote for change. You can't ask a city to believe in the ballot box on Tuesday if nobody's addressing what happened on the block on Sunday. Both conversations have to happen together, folks, or neither one means anything. And today, this happened today, just today, Mary, not Mary, but Mayor Cavalier Johnson, Chevy Johnson, Cavalier, Fire Chief Aaron Lipsky, and NPS Superintendent Brenda Casalis are given an update on Lincoln Avenue School. That's exactly the kind of local story that never makes it into a national feed, but directly shakes not Marcus, rather Milwaukee families feel like their leadership is actually paying attention to them and hear it. I'll be watching that briefing and I'll bring you what comes out of it when I watch the replay of it. So here's my bottom line for my Milwaukee and Wisconsin people specifically watching right now. Local news is not filter content or filler content. Okay, filler. So I gotta hurry up and get off this live. Oh my god, I'm ready for the hay. Who else is ready for the hay? Ready for the hay. But it's news that actually touches your life first. If you want to show that treats Milwaukee like it matters, not just a flyover market between national headlines, that's exactly what this channel is building towards. If you are watching from Milwaukee or anywhere else in Wisconsin right now, want to know, let me know. And the way you can know that is very simple. You can simply drop your city in the chat and tell me, are you heading to vote tomorrow? Which tomorrow will be coming around the corner. When she comes, in about 30 minutes, it'll be officially tomorrow, but polls open up. The polls open up as early as, I want to say 10 o'clock. You can fact check me on that. I think it's pretty early. I think 10 o'clock. I mean, I don't know. But I already got my voting out the way, so I ain't got to worry about it. My only duty is to tell people who haven't voted to vote. Okay. So let's see how many of you guys are looking right now. And if you don't want to place it in the chat live, you are free to do so. Post live. If you want to shoot me a direct message, as always, the way to do that, the way to email me is press, that's PRESS, at Marcus-Hart.com. That's press at Marcus-Hart.com. Hart is spelled Hart. All right. And don't ask me if I'm related to Kevin Hart. Don't do that. I get enough of that already. Oh man, it's so much. What I'm supposed to do? Lie? Like, yeah, I'm related to good. That's my cousin. That's my cousin. I have never met the guy. Don't know if he's related. Don't know at all. All right, let's get into one close. Because yeah, like I said, I got enough slide. I'm entire close. All right. So we covered Washington, we covered Wall Street, we covered the NFL, and we brought it home to Milwaukee. Before I let you go, I want to land this somewhere that actually matters because that's what this show is all about. Here's what I've noticed pulling all five of today's stories together. A new attorney general has to prove his independence. A judge reminded the president that power has limits. The market celebrated something that isn't actually good news for working people. Two athletes ended their seasons two completely different ways. And a city is trying to vote its way towards something better 48 hours after burying its head in more violence. Every single one of those stories is really about the same thing. You want to guess? What these stories are about? They are about who's actually in control and what you do when the system or the moment or your own body tells you it's time to make a decision. You don't get to control the headlines. I say this all the time. You only get to control what you do the day after you. I said this before on this show, and I'm going to keep saying it. My faith is what keeps me steady when the news cycle wants to lift everybody more powerless. I don't watch Washington like some people do. I don't look at Washington and think that the world is falling apart. I watch it and I remind myself that God has been sovereign over empires a lot more bigger and a lot more chaotic than this one. And he's still sovereign now. That doesn't mean sit back and do nothing. It means show up in your own life, your own vote, your own household, your own city block, and you do this the same way you would want the people in power to show up for you. So whatever you take from today's show, whether it's checking your polling place, having a real conversation about your own finances instead of trusting the headline, or just deciding you're going to walk away from something on your own terms, the way Teddy Bridgewater did. But make sure you do it with intention. Don't let the news just wash over you. Let it move you towards something. It's a gem, maybe. There's a gem right there. And by the way, if this is your first time watching and catching me on live or you watching the playback, however you're doing it, I want to point you somewhere to. My main show is the Transform You Live show. That's where I go deeper and I go more personal. I provide veteran stories, faith filled storytelling, the stuff that shapes exactly who I am. This show right here, the Urban News Journal, is where I break down the world as it happens. But you can go find Transform You also. It's a different side of the same mission. Okay? Make sure you do. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you drop a comment over there. Say, hey, I went over to the show because I was on the Urban News Journal and channel, and you told me about this show, so I'm here. What's up? What's cracking lacking? All right, man. That's the show for today. That's all I got to take. That's all I got to offer. There's so much other things that when Wednesday come around, we're going to cover those things in its entirety. We also going to do a recap on the election and see what those results land at. I am dying to find out. I wonder if I'm the only one. I know I'm not the only. I know I'm not the only one who's kind of um intrigued on what the Democrats specifically are going to do. That's so. If you're not subscribed to the Urban News Journal yet, please do so. Go hit that button right now. Drop a comment telling me which story hit you the hardest today. And follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on X. And we also got a TikTok now. All right. The links are right there somewhere on the screen somewhere. We are building something real here. And every single one of you watching is a part of that. And I love that for you. I love that for us. Once again, for last time, I'm Marcus Sark. And this is not my last time, you know, my last time in this particular live shirt. So I'm Marcus Sark. This has been the Urban News Journal. Stay locked in, stay grounded, and I will see you guys next time. Many blessings, peace, and my love. Peace.